destroy your family. That is what I'm going to be talking about. And this is going to be the essence of this whole discussion. Before I get into that specific thing, though, let me just talk about a quick story about some of our tenants. So, as you know, if you've been following this channel at all, you know that I'm a landlord. I own some properties, and we have renters that sometimes struggle with paying rent. What do you do about that as a landlord? What do you do about it as a tenant? You know, we have to think about that thing. But what we notice that some of our tenants do is that they fail to communicate. They fail to tell us about their situation. They like, hey, I don't know what to do. So they just kind of close down and they just kind of clam up. And that's not helpful because it's not helping us nor helping them. Because what we could do is we could take them to court and say, hey, can we get these people out of our property? And then they would have an eviction on their record, which is not a good thing. The better way of doing that is calling us up and say, hey, I'm struggling with my rent this month. I know I've been a good tenant for the last year and a half. Can we work out something about this month? And oftentimes, if someone talks to us, we will help them through that situation. It's not uncommon for us to do that if someone just opens up and just tells us what's going on instead of just clamming up and ignoring it. So you see what happens is like when you're not tackling these types of topics, you run into all sorts of issues. But this is indicative of other things in their life. Think about it this way: if they are doing this about their home, if they're not communicating with us, who they have perfect access to, we give them the full access to us. They can communicate with us anytime they want. If they're not doing that to us, what do you think about what about the other areas of their life, the other bills, the card payments, the mortgages and loans? So what I want to talk about though today is this issue is not talking about or totally ignoring your financial situation. And also that goes along with this, we've noticed with all of our tenants is there's not a planning involved in there. It's just that they live from day to day, month to month, year to year, and there's no extra margin in their life to actually be successful. So what happens is if you're not if you're not taking on debt, if you're not tracking it, if you're not watching it, if you're not aware of it, and then you just clam up and you just hope it'll go away, like, oh, if I ignore it, maybe he'll just go away. It won't go away. And what happens is it starts snowballing and you get worse and worse and worse situation. And then your family will be impacted by that. And oftentimes money is one of the biggest reasons people lose their family. Families explode because of this reason. So we have death spirals, we have family fights, we have loss of trust in a family if you don't have trust on how money is being operated. You don't have any savings. You don't have any savings in the bank. Like, where's that money going? Where's the money coming from? You have credit damage. So let's say you want to buy a home in the future or buy something else. You don't have that credit availability because your credit score is now 445 and you are almost really a poor candidate for a loan for a bank or someone to give you access to credit. And then lastly, this also causes stress and just damage to your reputation, which you don't want to do. So here are some tips to help you work through this situation if you are like many people today. So this is what I'll tell you if you're standing right in front of me as one of my tenants. Like, how do I handle this situation? First off, you have to pay yourself first. Paying yourself first does not mean that you write yourself a check and go to Disney World. No, it means that you take some money out of your paycheck and actually use it for something valuable. That is called investing. And that's my next point is you need to invest. So you pay yourself first. You figure out some sort of amount of money. Let's say 1%. 2%, 5%, 10%, 20%. The number right now does not matter. It's just that you're paying yourself consistently every single month. Now, right now, my money, anything I make extra instantly goes into my investments. Every single penny goes into my investments. But my situation is a lot different in the sense that it's a lot more complex because we have some rental properties. So it's not just as simple as that, but every single penny I have is going back into the rental business to build that up. And once that gets built up, hopefully our goal is that it actually brings us income over the next 20, 30 years. But we have to work hard. We have a lot of bills to pay. We have a lot of things that we have to do, and we have to cut costs in other areas of our life so that we can build up this business for ourselves. Here's so 2 items: pay yourself first. Preferably 10, 20, 30% of your income should go towards your investments. S&P 500 or whatever you want to do. This is not financial advice. It's just more like you pick your stock or your form of investment, whether it's property or business or something like that. You have to pick that and then start investing really hard in that. Stop addictions. So many people have addictions. We go on and on about addictions, but I've seen people lose thousands and thousands of dollars consistently by addictions such as gambling, smoking, drinking, alcohol, alcohol and drinking, drugs, porn, all these other topics that we could get into that are not helpful, that actually destroy you, destroy your family, and crazy enough, it destroys your finances as well because you're constantly paying for all these addictions. So you have to, and you could categorize addictions in this too is with like entertainment. So many people spend so much money on entertainment, and especially if you're struggling along, you need to just cut all that entertainment off. You need to focus on your financial situation first before you continue on with your entertainment. So again, pay yourself first. Number one. Number two, start taking that money that you're paying yourself worth first with, instead of wasting it on maybe something that you want to do, like go into the store, buy some new shoes, or go on vacation. You want to take that money and put it into investments of your choice. Just know what you're getting into so that you're well prepared. You know your situation. Stop addictions. That's number three. And number four is stop paying with credit cards. I'm not saying never use a credit card. I'm not Dave Ramsey here. But if you have to, I've met people that have to cut out credit cards from their life. If they don't cut out credit cards, they don't do well at all. They fail. They start, maxing out all their cards, and then they just messes with the whole life. So they've had to cut out credit cards totally. And you may have to do the same thing. If you have to cut out credit cards, you have to cut out credit cards, period. But if you do have credit cards, pay them off monthly, so you're not paying that extra interest, because that's zapping your income. I had a friend of mine who had like, I think it was like 5 or 10 grand in credit card debt. And he told me the interest rate he had. And I did the quick calculations, like, man, you're losing $1,500 or whatever it was a year. It doesn't matter the amount. I'm just saying that I'm telling him, like, if you get these high interest credit cards paid off, I'll this is what will definitely help you. And he's like, wow, I never thought of it that way. I'm like, yeah, you're losing lots of money by paying off these credit cards slow. Let's dump the money, any extra penny you have, into these credit cards, get them paid down to zero, and then use a credit card as it's supposed to be, or as you should do it. Maybe they're supposed to be is that they want to make money off of you, but how you should be doing it is using it wisely and not using it unwisely, paying them all sorts of interest. And then lastly, this is maybe the most important one of all these, because so I did not talk about saving money. You could be frugal. We talked about being frugal, but any extra money put into investments, but that assumes start being frugal with your money. You're not wasting it. But even more than frugal, and being careful with where your money is going, which is super important, by the way, and that just goes without saying, start making more, start increasing your income. And that might mean that you move, if you're McDonald's making minimum wage, that might mean that you go up to some sort of manager position, or you might take on a different job from $15 an hour to $20 an hour, from $21 an hour to $25 an hour, or try to start some sort of business. That's your decision. You do the research. God's made you in a specific way to use. So again, this item that we just talked about here, this one financial mistake you could really impact your family and even blow up your family. Well, that's what this mistake is financial avoidance. We have to take it head on and rethink everything about our finances. Please like and subscribe down below, and comment if you have any other items, any other thoughts about this topic. Also, don't forget to check out the different things I have available for you. The links in the description below. I'll love to have you on board and working with me. Talk to you later.